Excellencies, honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to IFEC International Conference of Technology, Culture and International Stability, TECIS 2022. It's a pleasure to welcome all of you here in University of Business and Technology. It's also a pleasure to invite you to participate in TECIS 2022, which aims to bring together researchers and practitioners from industry and academy to give an overview of the state of art, to present new research results, and to exchange the ideas and experiences in the field of international stability. Now, in front of you, I want to invite the president of the UBT, Professor Dr. Edmond Hayrizi. Mr. Hayrizi, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody, dear participants of the 21st IFEC International Conference on Technology, Culture, and International Stability. On behalf of UBT, I wanted to welcome you today here at UBT Science and Innovation Campus. We are very happy to host you here and to host this very important conference after COVID, and be able also to greet you all, or most of you as personally here, and some of our friends for a long time we did not see. And it's really very emotional and very positive moment that we can have as such a forum or event where we can discuss, we can present topics which I think are, as of today and as of the future, very important, very high relevance in the question how we can improve the development, stability, growth, jobs, innovation, and then a lot of other impacts that are very important for it. And because we are in this convergence revolution, it is as this interdisciplinarity-based approach conference is very important. So technology, culture, and stability. So what else is better than you bring inside the human-based component, the social components, you treat digitalization, smart systems, digital transformation, the impact that the technology has, and already we have to deal in the future much more. And another side, for what reason? Of course, for the reason of quality of life, for the reason of stability, peace, and many other aspects that we are looking forward. I think this is very much system thinking, a very much complex-based approach, and I have to thank you for your contribution with your papers and your research, and that you made create a great forum here that we can interact, and I think this is the most important thing. I think from the point of international stability, you see we have a lot of issues today, and there are a lot of global challenges that we are just touching this, and always we have to be able to think how we can increase our capability for resilience, capability for sustainable development, and try to raise the issues of health, of energy, of peace and security, of international cooperation, green, sustainable development, water, climate change, and many other issues which are really needed to be solved, and are high complex issues that are not issues on individual or institutional level, not issues on a national level. There are issues of global level, and in this global level there is a much more needed international cooperation, a global cooperation. Even we can have some competition, but in this sense, the idea is how to rise this international cooperation in order to, let's say, react according to these challenges we have. And in this case, in the cooperation, I think the main, let's say, the language or the common understanding what we have, all nations, is technology. I think with technology we are speaking the same language. We are using the same technology, and I think this is a very good interface between us to use the technology for challenges and solving the issues that we are talking for this. So I think technology is as a hope. Technology is as a transformation to solve the complex issues that we cannot maybe on the, let's say, human-based capacity reflect without technology. For this reason, we are as interesting to see how this technology interfere with our social systems, with a human-based interaction, with a culture, with resistance, with transformation, with many other aspects that are very, very important. So in this case, as a culture cannot be ignored, and otherwise it can be impact, but also there can and will impact also the entire harmonization for increasing the impact in general. So we are talking for society 5.0. So there are a lot of different concepts we are trying to come, and I think this conference try to bring some issues, some knowledge output in very interesting topics that we are going to move forward. As a UBT, of course, and Kosovo is trying to reflect according to this needs related with the digitalization, related with the green economy, and innovation-based ecosystem, trying to confirm some small-scale innovation ecosystem where we can reflect and have kind of impact first in the society and then in the international cooperation as a kind of interesting partner in general. And this was always, for small countries, a very important approach, international cooperation. And as Professor Larry knows, so this was built through this cooperation, through this openness to support, to share the knowledge. And I have to thank all partners and people who contribute also for Kosovo to have and be able to reflect much more on the resilient, sustainable development and innovation. But the most important, as I said, is that we, let's say, overcome a very difficult time, the COVID, the pandemic time. We are very happy to have you here. It was quite a very unique momentum for the humanity, with less data, with less knowledge, and not able to make a good forecasting how we treat and reflect. So I think it was exact a confirmation that we should be more prepared for resilience, for job resilience, for system resilience, and many other, for policy resilience, in order that we can, let's say, minimize the risk as much as possible for the future. And I saw also in some papers presented here in the conference that some of you already get this experience and present in paper as, let's say, experience that we wanted not to repeat, but as a lesson learned for the future for specific areas, because I think we have to accept the dynamicity, the complexity, the speed of transformation is happening, and we have to consider this and to take in consideration. And I think some of those topics we will discuss during the conference. I have, by then, of course, to thank all the authors for their papers, because being here more than 100 people in the conference with the papers, we create a very good international environment and framework for next 3 days, where we can present, as I said, different outputs. And this is, without you, of course, we cannot create, and even very difficult from the point of COVID and the time to be able to publish, but as I come here, organize, and so on. Of course, in this context, and a special thanks, and I think a great thanks is going, a great respect for our International Program Committee Chair, Professor Peter Kopacek, who is not with us today physically. He will be online in an e-meeting with us. But as you know, he contributed and is contributing a lot. And I think without him, we could also maybe not be here today, because he make a great impact on the success story with the entire academic process of evaluation and interaction, as even giving us as a national host energy, push, and orientation to make things happen. Of course, we have to thank a special thanks for Professor Larry Stapleton, our TC chair, for great contribution and impact he's doing in the TCE, but also for the specific case for our conference, but also for other contribution in IFAC Association, which is, I think, very great and proactive components which succeed also in our case to see here our the results. I have to thank also the National Organizing Committee, our NCO coach, Professor Ulber, Melinda, Lirizona, Betim, and all the National Organizing Committee. They work also very hard to harmonize, organize, and bring things here. We have to thank also the IFAC colleague from the administration. They supported us also with some advice, with some interaction, with the request, and I think this all make this environment today happen. And I wanted just to wish you all a successful conference, a good debate. Enjoy Kosovo. We'll try to have some interaction, to visit some areas of UBT, Pristina, Kosovo, but also I hope we will use the opportunity to talk about the future cooperation between participants on individual, but as an institutional level. Thank you very much and all the best.
Thank you, Mr. Hairizi. Now I pass the word to Dr. Peter Kopacek from TU Wien. He will be joining us online.
Okay. So welcome to TECIS 2. Circumstances. It will be half face-to-face, half ring. Okay, and as you know, Kosovo has a very important role because we had one of the first meetings like this one in the year 2006 in Pristina, and then we had good old times. We had meetings in Durrës on the sea, and now we are back in Pristina. Edmond mentioned, I am the IPC chair of this event, and I am the TC 9.5 chair. And it was a little bit tricky because we sent out, I think, 1,000 review requests, and then we get enough back. Yeah, and we tried to make a very interesting program because we had, especially in this meeting, subjects. Yeah. For example, we had a Albanian writer, I think from 1600 and something, and that's also now TECIS. Okay, I will make it short because we have a lot of other speakers. Have a good time in Pristina, and Parlamentarische. Thank you very much.
It was Peter Kopacek online with us, and now I invite in front of you Larry Stapleton from Insight Center, Waterford Institute of Technology.
Professor Irizi, Visneta, honored guests, fellow delegates, and everyone who's tuning in remotely, Mir Menges. On behalf of the TECIS International Programme Committee, the IFAC Technical Board, and the IFAC scientific and industry community of over 50 countries, I welcome you to the International Conference for Technology, Culture and International Stability, TECIS 2022, which returns after a little time to Kosovo. Thanks also to UBT and for the region, for Kosovo, for hosting this event and inviting us all here together in this amazing hybrid setup that we could have only imagined just a few short years ago. The beginnings of Kosovo's participation in IFAC as a national member organization dates back to the first TECIS conference that Peter referred to, which I think was the first IFAC event in this region, dating back to 2006, 16 years ago, almost to the day. And I'm honored to have been involved back then, so it's an emotional return for me to be back here after all these years ago. I remember some late nights in Pishat. European delegates learned that the word for beer in Kosovo is peja. Later, it's also a place. The delegates who came to Kosovo that year also discovered something else. They discovered the extraordinary warmth and kindness of the people here, which I know that you will encounter in the next days if it's your first visit. As a result of the hard work of the Kosovar scientific community, under the leadership of President Irizi and with the support of friends in the international scientific community, Kosovo was formally incorporated into the global IFAC family as an equal member in Milan in 2011 at the World Congress. I say this because I want you to understand, for the people here who've organized this event, the enormous support you have in the international scientific community. To my right here on the screen, you'll see the technical committees that are co-sponsoring this event. Peter and myself working in TC95 with others, the technical committee, which is the main host for the event, the main sponsor for the event in IFAC, but also Technical Committee 4.2, Mechatronic Systems, 4.3, Robotics, 8.3, Modeling and Control of Environmental Systems, 9.2, Systems and Control for Societal Impact, 9.4, Control Education. Each of those are themselves very large communities with hundreds and hundreds of scientists, industry partners working to support this event. We also have, I can't see because of the lighting, I'm not sure, but we have people from the IEEE here, from the United States. Is Botswana? Did you get here, Botswana? I see someone waving. I think it's Botswana. From the IEEE, the Universal Access to Technology Working Group, who are also here to support this event and put their shoulders to the wheel in the spirit of what Professor Irizi talked about, which was partnership. 21 years ago, which is a milestone in someone's growing up, the Institute for Engineering Management Education was founded by President Irizi with the support of our Technical Committee Chair, Peter Kopacek of Vienna, delivering much needed education capacity to the management community here in Kosovo. And then 18 years ago, a few years later, IEMA was reframed, if you like, into UBT. And that's around that time I became involved in 2004. I consider it one of the great privileges of my life to have been part of that foundational work in a small way, and to have worked with the various faculties at UBT, and to have seen the growth of this wonderful university that you see today, and to have worked with some really inspiring people. Professor Hairizi referred to the challenges our civilization face. We live at a time of widening divides when new walls are being built between communities. IFAC itself was founded in 1956 at the beginning of the construction of one of the biggest walls that were ever built by human civilization in history. That was the Iron Curtain, which fell across the middle of Europe around that time. In places like Berlin, it was a physical wall that divided a city, but it was a wall in the hearts and minds of people. IFAC was created as a counterpoint to those tensions and offered a new space in which people, scientists, engineers, industrial partners, NGOs, could have a new space in which they could come together in partnership and grapple with the challenges that we face as a civilization and perhaps even as a species. Today, IFAC remains a family of people who see science and advanced technology in the service of all life, and who, without ignoring divisions and hurts between people that are real and painful, nevertheless use science and scientific endeavor as a way to build bridges rather than walls between communities. Professor Hairizi, as I said, referred to the power of partnerships and how so much can be achieved through this. The diversity of the people and ideas that will be shared at this event embody the best that IFAC has to offer human civilization. This is the challenge for our event, to explore together new possibilities, revisit old ideas in new light. We are drawn together in this spirit of partnership by a shared belief that automation and control advances and technologies are central to the creation of a new, more humane civilization in which all systems of life, the diversity and richness of human experience and peoples, and the natural environment are not only treasured and cared for, but given a space to prosper and grow. As usual for TECIS conference, this event is wide-ranging in the scope of the applications investigated and reported. The program here has just a small selection of the topics on offer, just to name a few: digital, gender and sexuality, blockchain, digital transformation of society, renewable energy, the environmental impact of tech, robotics, industry 5.0, AI, digital cultural heritage, international stability, just some of the topics we're going to touch on in the next days. And perhaps most important is the sheer diversity of the delegates and who they represent, coming from widely different experiences of culture, ethnicity, religious persuasion, gender and sexuality. So welcome to this family. When I first joined the TECIS community as a young academic, I actually found it the largest family I'd ever encountered. So why not join the family? And in your pack, you will see an invitation and a mechanism to join the IFAC community. But come along to the TECIS committee meeting tomorrow. It's probably the best way to get involved. We promise not to give you an official role unless you really want it. Okay? But do come along. And you can check your program for precise details of where and when the committee meeting will happen. Finally, the World Congress is next year in Yokohama, and the deadline for submissions has been extended until the end of October, I suspect, to facilitate TECIS. It will be a hybrid event, and on behalf of the IFAC President, Hideaki Ishii, in Japan, I extend to you the warmest of welcomes to World Congress 2023. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you for your speech, Mr. Stapleton. Now is the floor for Mr. Avni Alidema from the industry.
Director Hairizi, Honorable Mr. Kropacek, Honorable Mr. Larry, dear colleagues, dear participants. Let me first express my special gratitude to Mr. Hairizi and Mr. Kropacek, who have gathered us today in this important event through which is intended to address various issues, special energy issues. The contribution made available for such major issues through scientific conferences such as UBT present an excellent opportunity both for researchers and for the institution themselves to interact, to create conditions and opportunities within the sector. I have the honor and pleasure to address you today on this day through the word of the occasion, stressing the importance and need for such activities, which aim to help in the sustainable and long-term solution of the challenges which is facing the energy sector in our country and the European level. Of course, the energy crisis that humanity is facing has highlighted many shortcomings, but also opportunities for further development of the sector, simultaneously putting before us the imperative need for mutual cooperation in order to provide concrete answers to the challenges before us. Therefore, today's conference serves as the bridge of the cooperation and connection between each of us so that together we can overcome every obstacle and that the future of the electricity sector will be more prosperous and brighter. It's worth noting that Kosovo, namely TECIS, as a DSO, it is preparing the network to cope with the energy transition process, in particular the integration of the renewable resources in the network, as well the distribution generation through prosumers. In addition, we are working on the preparation of the joint plans with TSO for the development of the necessary infrastructure for battery storage 170 megawatt, 340 megawatt hour. I wish you success in this conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Altema. TECIS will continue for 3 days with separate sessions to bring new ideas that will be implemented in the future. So thank you all for your attention and enjoy your staying in Kosovo.